Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Stoner's Animated Podcast. I know the last 2 weeks it's been me featuring other people. I just want to thank you for everyone who came and was on the podcast with me. It was a great experience. Shout out to Hot Girl Anime. Shout out to Acidated Sundays. It was a lot of fun. But now you're back to me, guys. And for today's episode, I just wanted to talk about DC Universe because I feel like I haven't really touched on that yet. It's like talk to you guys about what am I interested in as far as that stuff goes. So I just wanted to talk about that for a little today. Before I get into that though, let me tell you, the manga I'm reading for the week, Attack on Titan, totally caught up. Can't wait to see it animated. Need to know the ending. I gotta know. I don't know what's going on with chapter 135. I don't know if it's gonna be ending, beginning, or what. I don't know what's going on. Like, I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but I need to know. I need to know what's gonna happen next. I'm on the edge of my seat. As far as anime I've been watching goes, I've been watching this anime on Hulu called ID Invaded. So it's a sci-fi mystery anime that tells the story of a detective solving a case in like this virtual world. It's interesting. I like it. So far it's got me. It's on Hulu. It's subbed and dubbed. The art style is not my favorite. I think it's just their eyes that kind of is weird for me, but other than that, it's good. It has my attention. So as you already know, if you're new here or not, if you're new, welcome. Hi, hello. If you're not, what's goody bros? So today I'm just gonna go into some of my DC animated picks. This is not all. There are great animated DC Universe series that I'm not gonna talk about, that everyone really knows about. Even some of these most people know about, but these were my fave. These are my top picks. So DC may not always have the best luck when it comes to making movies, aka the movies be poop. And I know people are gonna, what about Wonder Woman? Alright, you got that one. What about Aquaman? No, I'm not giving it to you. Because Aquaman was paced too weird for me. There were certain parts that just didn't need as much time as other parts had. So I'm sorry, like, it was alright. But if you want to be 100% real, I fell asleep in the movie theater watching Aquaman. Did I fall asleep to the Avengers? No. Did I fall asleep to Spider-Man? No. That's all I'm trying to say is that DC, when it comes to the live action, they're lacking in some places. I don't know what's going on, but do not hit. But when it comes to the animated titles, they're the best of the best. They got this shit down packed. From Super Friends all the way to the latest season of Young Justice, there is no shortage of DC Universe classic animated series to enjoy. First, we're gonna talk about one of their newer works. Harley Quinn, baby. Harley Quinn is the newest of DC's animated show. Harley Quinn has quickly become a fan favorite, airing on DC Universe streaming service. Harley Quinn is not for the kiddies. They are wilding up the mouth in this show. I know it's for adults, but damn, they be cursing up a storm. Let me tell you. Like, there's sometimes I'm watching it, I'm like, dang, they cursing a lot. The first season of Harley Quinn follows the costume criminal as she leaves Joker behind and finally tries to make her own name in the underground world of Gotham City. With appearances by Poison Ivy, Batman, Joker, Kite Man, Bane. There's so many characters that make a little appearance in this show that anyone who's a DC fan is going to want to tune in. So, here's some of my general thoughts on the show, right? Don't come at me, people. Jim Gordon's portrayal during the first season was so hysterical. And then there were moments throughout season 2 where I was just like, he's doing too much for me. When his daughter becomes you saw that? When the daughter becomes Batwoman, that's kind of when his character has a greater purpose finally. Like he's finally doing, not the crying, waiting for Batman. Like Jesus Christ, they really exaggerated like like it's a whole bromance, and it's one. Well, I guess it's not really one-sided, but it's still a bit much. And I know he's younger in the CW. I think it's CW that did Gotham. I love the portrayal of Jim Gordon there. Like, I would have liked to see him a little bit more badass detective cop. And he was like the chief or something, rather than some whiny crybaby who just always calls for Batman. Like, I get it, but come on now, they could have done my son a little better than that. One thing I really enjoyed was seeing the independent version of Harley, especially following the plot of the first season. Just like in the comics, Harley is juggling her her own insane mind, and then trying to find balance in her life. So that to me was great because it's just like the comics in that sense. It finds the perfect balance between humor and chaos, and I thought they did that perfect. For several episodes though, throughout season 2, Harley was regularly involved with Darkseid or other elements from the New Gods. Unfortunately, some of these aspects of the plotline, for me, it felt really forced and ended really abruptly. Like, the villain's overall presence in the show was rather underwhelming for me. Perhaps the villain could be seen again in season 2, and maybe he'll unlock some more potential. Because we all know Darkseid is a badass. Like, he gives it up differently. So it was just, I feel like they just needed to add that in real quick. Because they really added that in real quick. Like, she needed a power, went to Darkseid. It was like, where does he even come from? One thing I enjoyed as well was seeing one of the Dark Knight's most formidable foes, Bane. And although he isn't as much as a joke as he is in Batman and Robin, the 1997 version, the character still gives plenty of laughs throughout the second season. But fans really get to see exactly what Bane is capable of when he nearly kills Batman, despite Batman wearing his enhanced suit. This just reminded viewers just how terrifying Bane can actually be, making him an incredibly welcome, added character to the series. Because it's like, Bane is badass in the series. Even though he gets treated like crap by all the other villains. I feel like season 2 did a great job of building off of season 1. Then there's Dr. Psycho. It's clear to me that throughout the season you're not supposed to like Dr. Psycho. He's supposed to be someone you kind of hate. Like, out of everyone out of Harley's crew, he's probably the most fucking terrible personality-wise. And then towards the end, he reverts back to his former self. So, it's understandable given his nature. And then as far as Kite Man goes, I didn't really understand the hatred for Kite Man that people had. I get that the producers, before season 1 even came out, they said that they were Ivy and Harley were gonna end up a couple. So a lot of people were mad when they saw Ivy be with Kite Man for a little. I don't know why I'm calling him Catman, but Kite Man being with him for a little while. But it's like, in the end, they already have said that she's gonna be with Harley. So why he corny, I get it. And he was really feeling Poison Ivy, and she was feeling him, but not, I feel like, to the extent that he was feeling her. Love the show. Great, funny. Season 3 in the works, I hope, because it was pretty good. And what's gonna happen next? Because if you watch the ending to season 2, I won't say how it ends, but if you've seen the ending, then me personally, I'm just wondering who's gonna be the next villain. Next up is Static Shock. Static Shock is a gem of a cartoon that ran on Kids WB from 2000 to 2014. It featured the adventures of Virgil Hawking, a black teenager who in as usual superhero tradition, is actually accidentally exposed to a chemical gas in a freak accident. Said freak accident gives Virgil the power to manipulate the electromagnetic spectrum, leading him to adopt the code name Static. A bunch of teenagers who were in the area were also affected by the same incident and are now known as Bang Babies. The Kids W series broke a lot of grounds for a children's cartoon, including it being the first one to have maybe not the first one, but the very few to have a black lead. Static is getting ready for another big leap as DC is starting to work on a Static Shock film. Michael B. Jordan is boarding Warner Brothers and DC Static Shock as a producer. He said, and I quote, "I'm proud to be a part of building a new universe centered around black superheroes. Our community deserves that." Static Shock tackled problems like gun crimes and gang violence. Static actually lost his mother in an exchange of gun violence between gangs. That hangs on him in the very first episode when he struggles to decide whether he's going to be involved in gang activity or not. The cartoon also depicted the challenges of single fathers, which I feel like in the media we rarely ever see, even to this day. I mean, it happens, but it's not really the norm. Static's dad has to raise a son and daughter on his own after his wife was shot, and that tragedy drives him as a community counselor, trying to keep others from falling into the pitfall of gang violence. I think we can all agree that Static Shock was great for its time. It talked about a lot of important issues that were happening in societies. I think we can all agree that Static Shock was great for the culture, and especially as a young kid, being able to run home and see someone on TV that you could really identify with. So I'm just going to talk about some things that were different in Static Shock than the animated version, because in the comics, Virgil's mother, she's actually alive. She never dies. She's also like a consistent part of his family life. In the show, however, like has been dead for 5 years. The Static Shock comic was actually done by the company Milestone. So originally, it was never a part of DC Universe. So they had to decide during the show whether they were going to add it to DC Universe or not. And also Milestone, I believe they went out of business in around 97. Because even after the show ends in 2004, DC Comics ends up going back to Milestone Comics and republishing those comics that they had already did before they closed. So that's like really interesting to me. So the comic Static was aimed at a higher audience, as were the rest of Milestone's like lineup. When the decision was made for Static to be a Kids W show, several changes would have had to be made to satisfy, Warner Brothers and ensure that Static Shock would blend in with their Saturday morning lineup. So instead of Virgil being he's almost 16 in the comics, on the show he's like 14. Also, the gunplay was highly reduced, and instead of gunplay they did energy weapons and power, because the comic just had a lot more violence. The show couldn't use Black Lightning, but they ended up paying tribute to him in a few episodes. Despite the similarities in their power and his long existence at DC, the publisher wouldn't allow the show to use Black Lightning. I don't know why. The producers got around this by paying homage to him in a couple of episodes. Also, in the comic books, Richie doesn't have any powers. He's also gay. So those were just a few changes that I found. I think overall it was just a good show, and we had a nice little gem for our childhood. So yeah, really enjoyed Static Shock. Next on my list is Young Justice. 4 years after Justice League Unlimited ended, Young Justice picks up the baton and created a whole new universe filled with DC characters. Where Justice League Unlimited focused on the adult characters, Young Justice, we finally get to see the young kids at work. Across his 3 seasons so far, Young Justice has told a long, firm story where kids grow up, experience great wins and tragic losses, and become the best heroes in the DC universe could hope for. Now a part of the DC streaming service, a 4th season is in production and will be hopefully on screens soon. So excited I couldn't even get it out. Also, DC Universe is on HBO Max, so it'll probably be there as well. Like last time I went on DC Universe Online, there was like this weird screen that was like they're changing their services soon. Hey, I just got HBO Max, so we here. Young Justice was a cartoon that was truly unique, and it wasn't taking one iconic character like Batman or an iconic team like the Justice League. Instead, it took a lesser known character and made them the focus of like a whole new series. I think overall the first two seasons was great. It was able to tackle real world issues like being different and relationships within the team. Even the deeper relationships that are formed, like, love and all that, they all feel really genuine in the things that happen. And even the things that happen behind the scenes, when they finally come to light, it's understandable because you got the clues already throughout the show. Like, it was just, to me, the show just was paced perfectly. Like, I enjoyed it. Like, every time something came out that was like supposed to be a secret and you're like, oh, that's why they were showing this and this and this before. I just thought it was great. Season 3, I don't know why I didn't enjoy it as much. The plot twist was pretty good. I didn't like how old Young Justice members was acting. They was moving a little too funny for me, that's all. But if you haven't checked it out, check it out. Season 4 is about to come out. You need to get on that. Next on the list is Batman Beyond. Am I wildin' if I say this is like my favorite Batman? No, I can't be wildin'. I'm sorry. Okay, maybe not my favorite Batman himself, but definitely my favorite Gotham. While Batman the Animated Series is one of the greatest things, I know, one of the greatest things that mankind probably has ever created, Batman Beyond is the best animated series I think that DC has created. The dark, gritty world of Batman being thrown into the popular cyberpunk subgenre of like science fiction resulted in a truly unique and like game-changing experience. I feel like it was giving me Blade Runner vibes. Set in the future of Bruce Timm's DC animated universe, Batman Beyond showed viewers a Bruce Wayne that was too old to keep up and introduced Terry. What is it? McGinnis? Terry McGinnis. Batman Beyond also was cool because it revealed the fates of some of Batman's old like friends and foes, and also introduced like cool new villains and I think cool new allies as well. Probably my favorite suit in all of Batman is Terry's suit. And then these upgrades. Oh my god, the ability of flight, a cloaking device, retractable gliding wings, claws, and a battering dispenser. It also had microphones in the fingertips, allowing him to eavesdrop on conversations. Come on. Like, the cartoon, okay, let me just be real. The cartoon foresaw some crazy ass advancements in technology, like artificial intelligence, gene splicing, and VR simulators. Those are slowly now becoming part of like modern life. All I'm saying is they was on their Simpson shit just a little bit. One of the best things about Batman is, without a shadow of the doubt, is his whip. I have the Batmobile. As far as all Batman goes, I don't think there's any one of them that was like truly terrible out of the animated series. But when one of them can fly up to the speeds of Mach 3, it kind of puts it at the top of the list. I don't know if you think, but I truly think so. You could literally start a war with this new Batmobile and all this new features that it has. Also, the landscape of Batman Beyond, it looks straight out of a Philip K. Dick novel. As the new Dark Knight patrols the streets flying in his Batmobiles, I feel like you can totally see Blade Runner vibes. Classic villains like Mr. Freeze and Joker make appearances throughout the series, both being brought back with enhancements in technology. It's also interesting to see the legacy that the Joker left behind, inspired that criminal gang known as Jokers, and Mr. Freeze's actions are even still hurting people many years later. Even Bane's venom has been turned into a secret level steroid used by high school athletes called slappers. Just in general, I loved Batman Beyond. I love the characters. So yeah, probably not my favorite Batman. Okay, definitely my favorite Bat suit. Definitely my favorite Gotham. Next up is Teen Titans. Everyone's childhood favorite, I'm hoping, I'm thinking, I'm guessing. Because Teen Titans was awesome when I was a kid. That was actually one of these shows that I actually grew up with watching. Like when it would come on, like I'm here, I'm ready for the new episode to drop. That was like the first like show that I can say I actually did that for. Based on the series Teen Titans, it ran for like 5 seasons and I think it did around one special. Unlike Young Justice, it focuses on a smaller group of superheroes and they just go against their biggest foes like Deathstroke, who's named Slade in the show, and Brother Blood and Trigon. Teen Titans is really unique to me because it combines Japanese manga style graphics with old school DC superheroes. For me, the comic moments combined with the interesting character quirks of the superheroes made the whole thing very interesting and entertaining. The greatest thing about this show is that it's able to put together the fact that these people didn't even come together to be friends. They came together to fight evil. And like every episode, they are fighting evil. There's questions of honor, loyalty, friendship, strength in almost every single episode. There's even members being kidnapped, coerced, ridiculed, or even tortured by like evil forces or their enemy. Like Slade. Slade tries to do a mental game all the time. Yeah, he was pretty much the main villain. And I think he was a great villain here. Weirdly enough, though, I enjoyed the Tara situation more in Young Justice because you actually get some closure from it, and it's a like more in-depth backstory. It just for me came across as a lot more interesting, and of course, like Teen Titans left you with a big question mark, and Young Justice does not. Teen Titans was real popular growing up. But then it spawned a whole new show, Teen Titans Go. And it's on a whole different level of popularity. Like, I'm not really a fan. Personally, it's not for me. But currently it's on its 6th season. And it has 273 episodes and a critically acclaimed movie. So, hey, I guess they're doing something right. I think I've watched like one episode with my little sister and that was it for me. I was just like, wow, this is crazy. Next on the list and last, Justice League Unlimited. So I really enjoyed Justice League, the first animated series, but Justice League Unlimited drastically opened up the DCAU in terms of characters, stories, and overall development. We live in an age where there are so many superhero television shows now, like Arrow, The Flash, Agent Carter, Arrow, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We have so many of these things, but there was one show that did it before all of them. Like, I'm talking about, the mashup mix where they, like, visit each other and all that stuff. Justice League Unlimited was there before it all, and what makes it a little bit more special than just regular Justice League is that it took what they already had there, but expanded beyond just the 17 members. It decided we're going to add this gigantic roster of other characters that no one has even seen animated before. One of Unlimited's greatest strengths in this regard was that it was able not to just bring in more heavy hitters, but dive deeper into DC's roster. Like, for example, Huntress, The Atom, Dr. Fate, The Question, Stargirl, Booster Gold, Red Tornado, and so many more were introduced to us for the very first time. So to me, this was just groundbreaking, and I honestly just loved Justice League. Like, it was so amazing. So yeah, Justice League Unlimited, definitely my favorite. I loved Justice League. It paved the way, it started it. And then because of Justice League, you were able to get Young Justice, because even in Young Justice, they're just starting off this new, smaller team. It's just amazing how they were able to expand on it for so many years and introduce the younger characters. It's amazing. Justice League Unlimited introduced some awesome new characters that we never seen animated before. And for people that didn't read the comics growing up, this was their first time ever seeing them. So I just think it was overall great. All right, guys, so that's all I got for you today. Let me know if you enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe, come smoke with me. Like, let me know the vibes. You already know Attack on Titan is the next thing I'm super excited for. Check out my Instagram for what I'm going to be watching this winter. Also, if there's any animated series you feel like I should get into, let me know. Comment, whatever, man.